You're listening to the You Don't Know Me Yet podcast network.
Hey, you are tuned in to Two Gems and a Mic with hosts Tanisha the Diva Mahomes and Linda L.D. Dorsey. Just know, if we talking about it, you need to hear about it. Unwind and enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Two Gems and a Mic. I'm your girl LD. Got my girl the Diva.
Hey.
And we got our boy Darren. Darren, fresh back from the Super Bowl.
What?
No. You have a good week on Radio Row?
I did actually. It was I worked smart. I didn't work hard.
Okay.
So this is one of those weeks where I got a chance to take a little break.
Okay, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it because I know you talked to some interesting people.
Hey, I saw you hit me off with one of them, so I know you're gonna be happy about it. So we'll talk about it here.
Yep, we're gonna talk about it. How was your Super Bowl weekend, Tanisha?
Well, you know, I like Sam Darnold, so I actually was looking forward to the Super Bowl. We had a little party over at my boy Terrell's house. Nice little turnout. Yeah, it was okay. You know, good little weekend.
All right, so let's
didn't even bother inviting us either, Linda. Just keep that in mind.
Well, you was somewhere. You was in San Francisco chilling, so we know you wasn't trying to go.
And Linda's up in Maryland, so you weren't coming down to Texas.
But the invite still would have been nice.
Yeah, I wasn't leaving my house.
Exactly.
I wasn't even trying to go to my garage. It was so cold.
You still recovering from the blizzard.
Today it was like 40-something degrees, so that's like, a heat wave.
I think it was like in the 70s today because I actually turned the AC on when I got off work because the damn car was hot.
My AC probably wouldn't even because it's got snow halfway or ice halfway.
I really couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
it's been cold, but Texas weather is bipolar, so you know that.
I'll take that versus I don't know what. We ain't doing a weather show, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Super Bowl because I'm reading, I'm hearing different takes. People like, oh, that game was so boring, it sucked. It was this, it was that. Oh, it was and I say I can tell you what my take is, and I will in a little bit. I enjoyed the game myself. You two, let's get your take, Tanisha.
I thought it was just meh. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I wanted it to be excited. I wanted Sam to be out there just, throwing touchdowns like he'd been doing all season. And I guess it was just a lack of offensive excitement, just being so defense dominated, one-sided in my opinion, almost like one-sided, and all that punting was a little too much for me. It just kind of sucked it up. I found myself sipping on some scissor. At the end of the night, I was gone. I'm just saying I was having a good time, but I was paying a little less attention to the game by the end of the game. I mean, it was a little boring for me, but I'm happy that Sam Darnold won.
Okay.
And he got that Super Bowl because I feel like they done old boy dirty ever since.
Yeah, but Sam, I saw
out here.
I saw an image of him, which I thought was really great. I want to pop it up. I feel like if I pop it up, I'm gonna screw everything up. But I saw Darren.
Give it to the IT person.
Yeah, I know, right? I did. I saw an image of him, and to me, it was. I mean, I really liked it because of what he's gone through, his resiliency. So that was kind of why I was rooting for him. And I feel like Drake will get his. So I don't know. Can y'all see that image?
Oh, you think Drake got a Super Bowl in his future?
I mean, if they get their team right, I think they can. But this image of Sam Darnold, I just thought was great. Him picking himself up, because sometimes that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So from a Jet, and if you look in the background, you see all the other teams that he played for, right? So he's played for 5 different teams. So for that reason, I was kind of pulling for him. I'm not a New England fan, never been. So that's going to be hard for me, regardless of who's playing there, to root for New England. But I I personally thought it was a good game. I like the defense. I really like what the defense was doing. And the other part, I think, for me, from a defensive perspective of what I was watching, especially with the fact that it was Seattle's defense, shit, it was so many. It was we had a few New York Giants, you know,
Mhm.
on that were key for that. It's like we give up players and they go other places and win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Somebody put up that statistic and I was like, oh God.
Well,
But
yeah.
I was happy for them because they did everything. Because when you look at Williams, big boy, he went from the Jets to the Giants, then out there. Love, same thing.
Mhm.
So, um,
I
but
mean, what
again,
I really like about this image, though, Linda, is the fact that the way that they did it, it's almost like his first team was the Jets.
yep.
And after, that didn't work out, so many quarterbacks, they can never really recover when they're that high of a pick and their career doesn't start off the way it's supposed to start off and they can't pick themselves up. So to me, the best part of that image is where he began and where he ended, like where
Yes,
he's at in his career right now. So
absolutely.
this is really worth a poster. If you're a real fan, I can see that being on somebody's wall, a young kid, and their parents telling them it don't always start off great, but it can end great.
And sometimes you got to pick yourself up. Darren, I know we've been talking without you. What you got to say about the game? You was out there.
Yeah, well, for me, kind of like Tanisha, the game was meh, and I mean, the simple fact is, going into the game, I didn't have high expectations for it. I always felt that Seattle was going to win. I thought that they would cover as well. Because throughout the postseason, New England didn't show anything on offense that would give me confidence they would put points on the board. And granted, they scored 13 late points in the game, which was in the fourth quarter, which is why the score, both
Even
teams scored a total of 30 points in the fourth quarter. That's why, the score looks like how it was. Otherwise, if New England's defense could have held, they would have won 13-12. So it's just one of those
Mm-hmm.
things where going into the game, I didn't have any confidence in the offense. It was the defense that I was confident about with the Patriots. And so throughout the first half and the first 3 quarters, it was a defensive battle where you had, 4 field goals that was the deciding factor until the fourth quarter. And so for me, it was just and even leading up to the Super Bowl, the buildup of it, it was not a lot of excitement going on. Now, I would say that some of it had to do with, of course, Seattle being in it versus San Francisco and it being held in the San Francisco area.
Mm-hmm.
So of course 49er fans aren't going to be too excited about attending stuff like that. And I will also say that locally, because everything was so spread out, I think if I'm correct, I believe the Golden State Warriors had a game that Monday night, so they couldn't hold the opening night, there at the basketball arena because of that, and they couldn't hold it at the regular convention center because they already had that set up for experience and all the other stuff that was going on there. So they had to move it all the way out to San Jose, the opening night, and it was in a convention center. And it felt like a small little ballroom atmosphere. So it looked, it looked low class compared to what you
You
seen
normally
on
see.
television.
what you're
Mm-hmm.
normally, yeah, what you're
Yeah, and so the pomp and circumstance of that wasn't really all there, and and so for me, I didn't expect a lot coming into this game, so I can't say I was disappointed in it because I expected this type of output. I would just say that the last quarter did, and I think I think if Drake May didn't have the pick six, maybe the score could have been a little bit closer, and maybe you little doubt seeps in. But other than that, it was a cool game. I think the biggest thing that I take out of it is that if you are so for me in the AFC, I still go if Patrick Mahomes is healthy, they're still the team to beat getting to the Super Bowl because it's only one quarterback that's active that is beating Mahomes, and that's Burrow. But everybody else, but Patrick being injured, it's other teams had a chance to go. This year was a lot of defense on the AFC side to get there, and I think the Patriots' defense is what helped them get all the way there because
So
offensively they didn't do anything.
okay,
And
with
and
with
and
With that being said, take everybody that was in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
Who who would you have wanted to see? Who do you think would have had a better draw, a better, rah rah rah? Because there was no hoopla about, everywhere I went, people like I'm not watching, and if they was watching, they was watching because they wanted to see Bad Bunny. So or they were just watching because it was a
Come
Super
on,
Bowl.
Linda.
What?
They're going for Bad
I
Bunny.
mean, I would
No,
say
no, I said people did. People, there
no.
were people that say I don't watch football, but I want to see Bad Bunny. So that's what I'm saying. They weren't.
But that was a
No,
whole separate controversy, and I think that was more about the supporting
well,
of the guy that was getting pretty much clowned before he could even get in there. But this guy is, you know, proven that he draws people in
I
and
don't think.
everything.
I mean, I don't think he was getting. He was getting clowned by people that don't know better. I'm not. Gonna, we. Don't- I mean, we could go on. That's a whole nother show. But I'm just
I,
saying there were people that wanted to watch it because of two reasons. Right? One, they loved it and they wanted to see what he was all about. Curiosity, because there were people who say I've never seen him, so it was curiosity, and some were pleasantly pleased, and then there were others that said I just always have the Super Bowl on. We just have a Super Bowl party every year. Don't matter who playing, because it's another reason to have a party. But I
I,
do think that the teams do matter. So I go back to my original question of who would you have wanted to see? Who do you think would have been a bigger draw of who was in the playoffs, not who didn't make it to the playoffs, of the
Well, I
teams
was,
that
yeah,
were
I
in the
was trying to
playoffs?
answer, so to answer your question on the AFC side, if you were looking for star power offense, maybe the Buffalo Bills, but you got the whole Josh Allen, but outside of Josh Allen and James Cook, you really didn't have a lot on offense, but you
No, I don't even
could
mean for star power.
no,
I
no, no, no,
mean
no, no. I know. I'm saying no,
for
but
draw.
I know that's what I'm saying. I'm
Okay.
saying draw wise, because I mean, because so for me, if I'm gonna have a defensive battle, I would have preferred the Houston Texans. I thought they had a Super Bowl caliber defense, and if C.J. Stroud didn't have two back to back horrendous games like Sam Darnold did last year, I thought I thought if C.J. Stroud played a competent game, that defense could carry him to the Super Bowl and perhaps, even playing field, no bad weather, stuff like that, you know, we get a good matchup and then you just never know how the game turns out because it becomes a chess match based off the defense. Now, if I want a high scoring game, I would have preferred like the Rams or the Bears, maybe going up against, saying the Bills or yeah, basically the Bills, I
Okay.
mean,
So
for points, stuff like
you
that.
answered a whole different question. My question is based on the fans out there, who would they want to see? It ain't CJ Stroud because some people don't even know who he is.
Well, no,
I'm
well,
thinking
no,
like
the
the hoopla.
Bills,
Who would have brought it?
Bills and the Rams, Bills and
Bills
the
and the
Rams.
Rams. Yeah, that's it.
No, I'm gonna say who. Yeah, no, that's
Matthew Stafford, right? The
no.
MVP, and then Josh Allen, last year's
Hmm.
MVP, and the one that everybody said, and not us, but you know what I mean by everybody said should have been there. I
And
think
you're gonna get some points being scored.
that and that's a draw. That's a
Yeah,
Josh Allen is going to be a draw regardless.
He's a draw because he hadn't won.
Because
He
what?
yeah.
just because he hadn't won. He hadn't won.
I mean
He's
that's
been
fair. I
close.
mean
He's been very close.
it
He's
will still be
shown
a draw.
he's
Yeah,
played some amazing you
losing
know,
football. Let's put that.
well,
Well, yeah, he's had some
Yeah.
great games,
he's had
and he
some
puts on a good
amazing
show.
games. And like I
Yeah.
said, he comes out there and he gonna leave it out there on the field. So you're gonna get something from him. So yes, that's what I want, the Bills and the Rams. And I didn't think that the Bills would win that. I thought the Rams was gonna win. I said that from the beginning. So when the Rams lost, I was like, well, that's easy. I mean, Seattle's gonna beat the Patriots. I never thought that Drake May was gonna pull that out.
I don't even put it on, and we can. It's just like
And it's not because I think Drake May was
yeah,
bad.
because I don't put it all on him,
Yeah,
right?
because
That's a
I,
team
I
effort
didn't
because
think it
he
was, I'm
Duke
not saying
couldn't.
it's his fault. I just he's young. There's a lot of pressure. You could see him struggling a little bit as the game after the postseason. He was struggling a little bit in those playoff games. His play was he was making some, I don't know, some throws that he would normally make. He wasn't making them, and I thought that was nerves. And so
Okay.
you sometimes see that, and I saw that a little bit in him. And now, granted, he's been there now. So next year, you know what I'm saying, that's not going to be probably he can say he's been there, he's been all the way up, he's fought all the way up to the Super Bowl. He may be a whole different stud next year when he come in there because he's adjusted. But that's a lot to put on a guy that people really didn't believe in at the time, and he went out there and proved that
He
he.
was an MVP candidate. I mean,
I'm talking
I'm
about I'm talking about prior to him being drafted. He was
oh,
having
okay.
to he believed in himself, which I always loved. If you watched all that, pre-draft, he always said he was that dude and that he knew he was ready for the next level. It was other people that didn't believe in him, but I was
I
glad that he was able to get out there and prove it.
I'm not gonna give him the excuse of youth, right? Because if that's the case, then you should have never got there.
The
Of
experience.
the light experience. Okay, then go. When did your nephew win his first Super Bowl? What year
Uh,
was
Say
he in
second season,
year two.
year two.
as a starter?
Yeah,
No, yeah, year two is the start. So yeah, it was technically year three then.
Right.
because
Okay.
with the
Well,
bench.
because he played what, one game or whatever the first
Yeah,
year.
he
But I'm
played
just
the
saying.
last
So
game
I'm
of
not
one
putting
season.
it. I don't accept that as you get there. You're building to get there. That is what you're getting there
But
for.
you've seen a
So
lot when you get there. Pat was different. He had a veteran quarterback. He had a great mentor. Like he had all that from there. So that's when he was sitting on the bench. And then he got into a system where he had a good system that he was in. So I feel like I don't really want to compare him to Pat because I think Pat he had what I consider
Pat had everything on a silver platter set up for him compared to a lot of these other quarterbacks.
I I I get that, but I'm not gonna make excuses for this kid to say, "Oh, he was so young. He was this. He was that. He was
All
nervous."
the
He's got a
it's
great
just what
coach.
it's just what it is.
Look, he got there. So now you don't make excuses for that game. If it's been happening all season and you don't make excuses for the playoffs, right? So if you ain't that dude, you ain't that dude. You ain't
all I'm
that gal, you
saying
ain't
is
that gal.
his
But
play in the playoffs did not match his play regular season.
no, and the teams didn't. The team didn't.
Well, pressure bust pipes.
Yeah,
You know, I'm
yeah.
trying
I
to
now,
tell you.
I agree. I agree there. But was it him or was it the team?
I said he didn't play well.
Okay,
He didn't play like he played during the regular
okay.
season.
Then you thought the rest of the team did.
I ain't saying nothing about the rest of the team. I said he didn't
I'm
play
at
well.
so
Quarterbacks have to rise up, and if you hear they rise up to the occasion and they bring their team over the hump. We get in. People get in. Josh Allen's ass all the time for not being able to do it. They get into Lamar all the time for not being able to do it. I'm not making an exception for Drake May.
no, I agree with you. I think he had everything to do it. I mean, the coaching, the offensive coordinator, that guy's got what, six
No, yeah,
Super Bowl
yeah,
rings and
he
all that
has
other
a
stuff.
good coach.
Okay, I'm just saying. I just thought they got outplayed. Me personally, I never thought they should have been there. I thought they had a lot of luck this season,
Hmm.
and I thought other teams didn't show up that could have shown up. So I don't take. I mean, I guess he had the numbers. Darren, you more of a numbers person because it was between him and Matthew Stafford, which I never thought you know, he would have gotten this. I guess he was putting stuff up all year long. Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Tanisha.
No, no,
yeah,
no, no,
but
no, no. He had the numbers. He
Okay,
had good numbers. He really did. He had good numbers.
okay.
It's just that to me, the eye test told me Stafford was the MVP. That was
I mean, I agree there. Go ahead, Darren. You gonna say?
no, I was just gonna say what Janisha said that he had the numbers and stuff like that. So
What do you think from that call from MVP? Him? Did they get it right?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it should have been that close, but yes, they got it right with Matthew Stafford, and I don't know. I mean, it's hard to justify how Boy Wonder Justin Herbert got a first place
I saw
vote,
that he
but
did. What was
whatever.
it? One, but it was one pick, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had one vote, but it was a first place vote. Somebody,
Yeah.
we got Sam Monsoon or whoever, man. I don't know.
All right.
People's credibility
well,
gets
Yeah. So
stretched.
we're gonna come back to
yeah.
let's
It was
come
a
back to
test of lunacy running around in the book.
yeah. So let's come back to we're gonna come back to the Super Bowl. So since we're there, I wanted to, there were some comments made about and if awards, Hall of Fame, all of that, right? So I'm kind of jumping on y'all. Still
Mhm.
stay with me if you can.
Okay.
Randy Moss. Randy Moss said if you didn't play, you didn't coach it, or you didn't. I think there was one other thing. Then you don't vote on it. Do you agree with that?
No, and the reason why is because you can have the same. I mean, if they're Hall of Fame players that are voting, they'll have certain biases too. I mean, they can not like a player, coach, whatever. So it would be no different than a reporter. For me, I've watched football since I can remember watching televisions, and so and I also know the history of the game. So I know players that I've watched with my own eyes during the time when they played. I know if they're a Hall of Fame player or not. The only problem is to be quite honest, is because you got that 5 year waiting period. For most Hall of Fames, the problem is that during those 5 years, you see new players that are coming through, and so it skewers your point of view because someone like Randy Moss and T.O., they're no brainers regardless. However, let's just say Randy Moss retired, like a few years ago, and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are playing, and they put up these guys, these big numbers. Well, now it kind of puts what Randy Moss and them did back in the day a little. It kind of pales in comparison, and so and if you didn't win or if you wasn't quote unquote dominant, and so it's all these little things that these little nuances that comes into play. Because I tell people all the time, Peyton Manning was a Hall of Famer, obviously, no doubt, but he didn't get there by himself. What I'm saying? Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. Harrison is in, but I'm saying, but other players, Kurt Warner, he's a Hall of Famer, yes, but he didn't get in there by himself. Marshall
Right.
Faulk was already a Hall of Famer. He's going to get in regardless. But who was Kurt Warner throwing the football to?
Right.
I mean,
Agreed.
yeah,
Agreed.
yeah. So
A thousand
I'm not putting
percent.
that. I'm not putting that argument. But
Right.
but I'm saying is those players that help those other players get
Yep.
Hall of Fame numbers, but because they weren't, and I'm just using wide receivers because they weren't a Randy Moss or Trell Owens during that time frame, and they didn't get all the accolades, even though they won, and they did put up real adequate numbers for a consistent number of years. They just get lost in the mix, and then again, time. You know what I'm saying? Time ends up being the disadvantage to a lot of players because during that time, other players and the game is constantly changing. Because to be quite honest, Otis Taylor, who helped the Chiefs win their first Super Bowl back in 1970, he should have been in the Hall of Fame. He was one of the most dominant receivers. He was a 6'4", 235-pound wide receiver back then that should have been in the Hall of Fame. And the fact that he's still not in there, again, that just lets you know
Oh,
how
I'm
this Hall of Fame
agreeing with
stuff
you
is.
like a
Yeah, yeah,
thousand
yeah.
percent because I think it's all about errors. That's why when people
Yeah,
start having that GOAT conversation, it's like, the games
not
are
fair.
different. The game is
Yep.
different now. They play, with leather helmets and stuff like that back in the day. Don't compare them dudes to these dudes now because they get a hangnail and they done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's across all sports. We got load balancing, we got all kinds of stuff. So you can't compare that with that. And then I kind of get I get in my feelings when I see players talking about some of these players now. They couldn't do what I did and all this other stuff. It's all different. No. So if
Yeah,
you got
and
10,
that's
15 year gap, it's different. Me, because I'm
It,
go
it
ahead,
happens
Tanisha.
though. No,
Yeah,
it happens because
it's natural. It's natural.
yeah,
Because
but I
some
mean,
people don't even hold on one second, Tanisha. I'm gonna cut you off for 1 second. The name that Darren, you said Otis Taylor?
yes.
Right. Half the people that's gonna listen to this or see that don't even know who he is, never heard of him. So then
And
they're like,
again,
nah.
and that's the problem because a lot of people don't know the history of the game. And look, to be honest, Roger Craig should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. He
I
was
think
the
so too.
first running back, the first player to have 1,000 rushing and receiving, and he contributed. He was a main contributor to 3 Super Bowl championships with
yep.
the Niners. And look
Oh,
and look.
Tanisha, she's scratching her beard. Hurry up so she
I
can
mean,
say
No,
something.
I'm
and
just
Darren Woodson is. I mean, and Darren
I was
Woodson as
gonna
well
say
with the
Darren
Cowboys.
Woodson.
Yeah.
Darren Woodson.
You skipping
See,
them boys. That's
3
why I
Super Bowls.
was.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you
What was
skipping
just and
and
Drew
not
Pierce?
just
Remember what we
Jefferson.
went through with
Yeah, I
Drew
mean, it was
Pearson, like saying,
a lot of
what do I have to do
And,
to get
look
in?
and look and when you think about and look and here's the other thing. Honestly, a lot of times these announcers, saying they're the blame as well because everybody that plays, they always talk about this. This player is a Hall of Fame. He's going to get to the Hall of Fame, and
throw it, punch it
So
around.
you already telling, you already talking about how these players are Hall of Fame players, and they, they got to wait to 5 years because trust me, a lot of people talked about Eli Manning Hall of Fame career. He hadn't done anything besides get lucky winning 2 Super Bowls. Nothing against the Giants. I'm just saying,
No, we not
no,
gonna.
no,
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 I will
no.
cut your ass off of this
Do that.
You cut
podcast
all
real
you
quick.
want, but it's
You
true.
is not
But
gonna slander Eli.
yeah, I would say
Don't
all
do
day long.
that.
Huh?
However,
No, what?
however,
You want me to pop you out?
Don't do it.
however,
Stand up.
however,
I'm already getting him. Don't do it.
I
ain't
mean,
doing
well,
it
no,
again.
hey, look,
Then if you
he's
saying
over 2 so far.
let me just say something to that. If you saying that there's some people that need to be snatched out because it ain't just the 2
What?
Super Bowls. The 2 Super Bowls are
That's fine.
icing on the cake for Eli, but Eli did a lot for that team. And his numbers, if you look at his numbers and look at his statistics, come on now. It's some
Eli
of them
played
that-
17 years and made the playoffs probably what 4 times,
and there's some that have done less that are in there.
I don't disagree with you.
All right.
I don't
But
disagree.
who did he beat? Twice.
Say-
Who did he beat twice?
I'm saying yes, and I'm saying that is the argument, but that's still not a strong enough argument. Again,
It wasn't
there are
this
other.
year. He'll
hold
get
on.
in, I'm sure.
There
but
were
yeah,
well,
it
I
wasn't.
mean, look, there's people that think that Antonio Brown should get in next year, or some of these other players should get in next year.
Antonio Brown damaged himself, and that's
I-
unfortunate. I don't think he'll get in just because of the other. He might he get in
but-
prison, but just because of the stuff.
You say you might get behind the boys.
get behind bar, he gonna be in that Hall
I
of
don't
Fame.
even know what to say.
Nah,
after that
I'm
one.
just saying. I think, and you're right. It becomes. You made a perfect point. He's played excellent football,
Yeah.
but he's not all there. So the things that he's done
That's
off
what
the
I'm trying to
field,
say.
it's gonna
That's why
affect.
I want people to realize I am not a doctor, but I feel like this was a man who started off that was like the first on the field and all that, and he got in there with that bingo and he got getting his clock clean and they don't what's it Diggs that hit him and knocked him in the middle next week, and I still think he got some future diagnosis that's coming down there, and I just hate to see that when they start spinning out of control like that. We're watching that live, but that man plays some great football, and if it's what most people think it is, it's kind of hard to keep. I mean, I feel bad that they're gonna keep him out. Is what I'm saying. I do not think he's gonna get in, but he played a hell of a.
Yeah, it's like the gambling with Pete Rose and all that.
Yeah.
But there's always that one, right? All it takes is one. Like say, one monkey don't stop no show. They do. Because if you think about it, Derek Jeter, everybody voted for Derek Jeter. I know I'm flipping over to baseball, except for one person. Why do you think that one person didn't vote for him?
Because they didn't want it to be unanimous.
And figured everybody else. So it becomes personal. It's not on what they did on the court, on the field, or whatever it may be. It becomes personal.
So let me ask you all one question because
Mhm.
I don't think we touched on it from the last show, but thoughts on Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. I think he had made it in so for a minute, so I'm not too concerned about him. But your thoughts on Bill Belichick not making the Hall of Fame?
I guess he's got to go in. I think he's got to go in. And you know me, I'm not a New England
I think he
fan.
will, but I'm just saying. But the fact that he wasn't
but
the first
the fact
ballot.
that he didn't, there were so many comments that came out, and some of them sounded logical to me. Like maybe he's not done, so we're gonna vote him in, and then he comes back to play. I think some people on the fence. They thought maybe he was coming back to the NFL.
Well, he missed it. He missed about one vote. So I mean, I get it,
okay.
but that's still kind of tough.
Look,
Look,
tell me who the clown is.
huh?
They didn't identify the person.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it was 11 voters. One of them was a local Kansas City reporter who covers the Chiefs with me. His name is Vahe Gregorian, and Vahe put, he wrote an article about it, and look, and I get it. His thing was, and it's unfortunate because of how they have it, to where it used to be you had the senior committee and then the coaches and contributor stuff. Now it's all lumped into one, and
Right.
so his thing. And I'm just using Gregorian as an example. His reasoning was these other players, if they don't get in, supposedly they'll never be on the ballot again. So his thing is, he knows that Belichick is going to get in, so he felt like maybe the other 40.
Let me get the other ones. Yeah, that was another justification too. So, but yeah, I get it.
But also, but also, Linda. I mean, look. I mean, and so some voters, including Tony Dungy and maybe the guy from Indianapolis, wanted to punish Bill Belichick because of the whole Spygate and the Flakegate. So here's the thing: he was
I
caught
thought Tony
cheating.
Dungy said. Well, you said Tony Dungy's name. Did he say he didn't vote for him, or he said I'm not going to talk about who I voted for?
He that's what he said he was talking about. He, but
Okay.
But I
you
mean,
gonna be making that tomorrow.
that's an
a lot
assumption.
of people are going to feel that way because
A lot of people didn't like him.
Well,
and that's but again,
they got the picks, but 3 of them, a lot of people feel like that are not deserved because at that point, if you got the playbook and you know what everybody gonna do, it's the same way with baseball when they know the pitch is coming because everybody they getting they 17 runs scored. When these are professional athletes, they're not.
Stay there, Tanisha, with that because then my question is, my follow up on that is there should be a criteria, right? How do you write a criteria for who goes into the Hall of Fame? And then you can't leave. You got to leave the personal stuff out.
But the thing is, the rules are supposed to say what you do with inside those, which is why it was hard for people to justify keeping Terrell Owens out for 2 years because of what you felt like was off the field or locker room or how what he did to other locker rooms. Again, because I'm torn because while Bill Belichick is a Hall of Fame, probably should have been a first team. I get torn because if I'm someone who believes in ethics and believe in fair play, you got caught cheating not once but twice, and it wasn't like you got to. I mean, you got fined real money and you lost draft picks because you were caught cheating. Now people like to say,
stay there. So what do you do with Tom Brady?
What
do you do with Tom Brady when he comes in? Because ain't nobody denying him. He going in first ballot.
I mean, so that's what's saying.
But here's the thing. The same was. I'm pretty sure the same was said about Bill Belichick until he didn't go in.
I don't. I bet you $100 right now when he eligible, he going in first round.
Linda, you could have bet $100 that Bill Belichick was going to go in and you'd have lost it.
No, I didn't. I'm saying right now.
That's a true quote. I would have bet that he was going in because to me, for so many years, people act like they didn't cheat. Oh, they got all this. Well, you cheating.
Oh, they done forgot about that.
That's what I put. No asterisk on the side of them.
No,
they ain't holding them out like they did bonds and all that. No, they good with it. The cheating is okay.
It's okay for some.
Well, it seems to be okay for a lot of people because people say, well, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But no, that's not the message that you should be trying. Because see, that's the hypocrisy of a lot of people because you say that, but you don't want your kids to cheat. So what are you saying if you're saying, so it's a convoluted message, which is something that I don't particularly like or care for. And so that's what gets me torn because I'm not upset that he did not. That if you tell me that you didn't vote for him because you believe he cheated and you proven a point, okay, cool. Now the question is because the big thing when you talk about baseball, everybody keeps saying Barry Bonds did steroids, but he's never been caught. His name somehow appeared on the Balco list, but he's never failed a drug test. Everybody talk about his head got bigger. Well, hell. I gained weight. My head got bigger too. So what? That don't mean I took drugs. Shut up. So I said to say that, I mean, I do believe he'll get in. He is a Hall of Famer. I wish he would have got in probably first time around, but I'm not upset because if people go with the assumption or go with the reason that hey he cheated and he got caught, then I mean that is a price to pay.
Yeah, No disagreement here. No disagreement here. I gotta ask a question. This is my own ignorance, and I didn't look it up before the show. I ain't never looked it up. Do they put them in based on like you can have 3 quarterbacks going in 1 year, or is it based on position? It's just whoever they vote in, whoever's eligible. That's what they vote in. So Luke from I can't think.
Luke Kuechly.
I screwed his last name up. You think he was more deserving than some people that left off that list? You think he? And I'll say
did. It's not.
No, I'm asking both of y'all opinion. You think he should have went in before Eli Manning?
Yeah.
Why?
Again, I've already told you that I don't believe Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer.
Okay, but this guy is, and tell me why he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, he played at an All Pro level a number of years compared to Eli Manning. I don't think Eli Manning ever made All Pro. I don't even know if he made a Pro Bowl, let alone an All Pro. I'm saying so. Yes. He was a Super Bowl winning quarterback, not once but twice. However, there were other Super Bowl winning quarterbacks that probably won't get in or anything like that, and have decent careers. So I
I ain't
can't,
asking you why Eli didn't get in. I'm asking you to tell me why this guy did get in.
Well, because the voters felt like he had a better storied career than Eli Manning.
Okay, and I bet you if I went on the street, 9 out of 10 people wouldn't know who the hell he was. Tanisha,
Yeah,
what
they
do you
don't know
think
who he, they
between
don't
those
know who
two?
he is.
I
They
know
don't know
who
who
he
he
is.
was because we got that concussion and started crying.
I
You
I
remember
remember
that?
that. I
He was
remember
out
that
there.
game.
They don't
Yeah.
remember that. They don't remember that. But he was a dominant. He was dominant in his position. I'm not saying that he wasn't. Should he have gone before Eli? I wouldn't have voted him in before Eli.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have. So I mean, for
I
me,
just
no.
use Eli because I don't know who else was
But
left
I
off the
wouldn't
list.
have,
I
no,
know
but I
Eli.
wouldn't have voted him in. But yeah, but he played. He's definitely worthy to be in there.
And I agree. I think he played. I think he was great. He was a very impactful player for the Panthers.
Mhm.
Very impactful across the league. I don't know if that's a Hall of Famer because I can think of some other impactful players that ain't in there and that ain't gonna get in probably, right? Because everybody can't get in. That's you know what I'm saying.
That's what Dion is always saying.
Yeah,
What is the Hall of Fame? It should be levels apparently.
right,
All are
right.
very good.
Yeah, and it's different. It's different now. We could go on and on. I think I know I'm probably like running over our time or whatever. But so Darren, give me a quick your radio row. What was your highlights and where can people go check them out?
They can go to X at Darren Smith NFL. I got a chance to talk to Stephen A. Smith, Jamel Hill, Kerry Champion, along with Carl Kanai, who styled Coco Jones for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Got a chance to speak to a couple
/Whitney
comedians.
Houston.
Yep.
Shout out to Whitney Houston. Got a chance to speak to a number of people. Steven Espinoza, who's the former president of Showtime Sports, who's actually in a bit of a lawsuit with Floyd Mayweather. So, and then talked to some wrestlers. There's a lot of people I got a chance to talk to. Actually, talked to more people than I had planned on it, so it's kind of hard for me to remember all of
Okay.
them all at one
No,
time.
but you had a good week. So Radio
sir.
Row, give a quick. What is Radio Row?
Radio Row used to be just a conglomerate of a number of radio stations that would come, for the Super Bowl and do a lot of interviews and stuff like that. But over the years, it's grown to include, TV, the TV sets and the Sirius XM radio and Barstool and Pat McAfee show, ESPN and Bounty. It's so now it's just like a big media just media row versus radio row because you got podcasters and influencers and all this other stuff. So it's grown from where it first began.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question though. Did you like it the way it used to be, or do you like it the way it is now?
I mean, I'm indifferent. I mean, I'm fine. You adjust because trust me, this is my 9th one, so I started actually 10 years ago when it was the Super Bowl was in Houston. Could have been 9 years ago, but 10 years ago when they were in Houston, and it was and the New England Patriots came from behind against the Atlanta Falcons to win that game 20-3. So
Okay.
during that time, you actually during that time the TV it was literally just still radio. It was still radio. This is just 10 years ago. However, again, just like it was I was one of the first people that actually did the live stream and stuff. So when I was in Houston, I drove from Kansas City down there, and I packed my truck up. I had my big screen and all my radio equipment and stuff like that. And I used software called Wirecast. So what was happening during that time? I'd bring people. They sit down and so while it's streaming on my big screen that I had sitting there where fans could walk by and see everything, the people who I'm interviewing, they could see comments and questions and stuff that were popping up. And I was taking phone. I was doing a lot of stuff that nobody was doing back then that now everybody's trying to do
That's
right
right.
now.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it
then
was
Easier access.
then
Now,
I got
go ahead.
one thing. I gotta have it because you know that we have watched many Ravens game, and I have seen you lose your crap over the coach. I want to know how you feel
Oh,
about.
and what I wanted, this is just a teaser because we're gonna do a whole nother episode, right? And that's what I'm just letting people know. This is a teaser. Head coaches, we're gonna talk about the head coaches, we're gonna talk about the people that didn't get jobs, we're gonna talk about the people that lost their jobs and moved around, and of course we're gonna talk about how in the hell did some of these people get
Get
picked
it
for
done.
these jobs. That's gonna be on
Yep.
I've got to save that for another episode
We
because
not finna
that's
get
gonna need time itself. Um, I I Tanisha, you got any closing thoughts? Because I wanna bring
no,
something
no, no.
up
You
that's
you good. You
kind
good.
of
Go ahead, knock it out. We're
okay.
running.
So we have all the we're gonna close this out with this conspiracy theory, and I don't think I can zoom in, so it is what it is. But you remember the photo they had. This is next year's photo. This is for next year. You remember the photo that came out like this, and up in the front was Drake May and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all see who's up? Have y'all seen who's up in the front? They got him.
Yeah, of course it's Patrick and Lamar,
Yep.
and looks like is that George Kittle?
Kittle was up there. Yeah, and they had different players now.
Tua.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just funny to me because all of these conspiracy theories that come out, the colors of what
The Super Bowl logo is.
yeah, that I'm still not seeing what people are talking about. We knew it was going to be them based on the colors. I guess we can make anything fit. But Darren, I'm glad you enjoyed the Super Bowl or your time in San Francisco. I ain't gonna say the Super Bowl. Tanisha, you had to have a little party, so you good. Um,
I did.
I
I
was
did.
inside because it was 1 degree outside, so I wasn't going nowhere.
Exactly.
It's nice and cold, so I enjoyed it. I look forward to it. Now everybody says, "What are we gonna do? What are we
And I
gonna
will,
do every Sunday?"
and I will say this before we close. I want to shout out Orlando Brown, former Chiefs player, Marcus Peters, along with Tyquan Thornton and Justin Reed. They all stopped. They all paid respects and make sure they stopped by to talk.
Hit people one more time where they can go check you out.
You can check out the interviews on Twitter at Darren Smith NFL.
Yep, I
Or
checked
X, I'm
them out, and definitely worth checking out. But me and Tanisha, we go on 1 year.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we're going to
I mean, yeah, I
California. I
had the
might wait
invite a
for it
while
to.
ago, but we
Yeah,
ain't gonna say nothing about
I might
that.
wait for it to be in Atlanta. I can save a little money, go crash at my sister's house. But
That's the dirty
In 2
rum going.
years, it's 2
huh?
years,
I said
Yeah,
that's
from now.
I
the dirty
know.
rum.
That's what I'm saying. It'll be there in 2 years. That's why I said I might wait till then.
You tell your sister I need an air mattress. I'm going.
I'll let her know. I'll let her
You
know.
let her know. I'm going with you.
Um, and I'll wrap us up. The world is still crazy, right? Things are happening. Tell the people you love that you love them. Let them know that you love them. Don't wait because tomorrow is not promised. And I just want to say, be kind when you can. Be kind because kindness makes such a difference to people that's holding the door, that's saying hello, that's saying thank you, that's saying you're welcome, whatever. Be kind to the people when you have an opportunity. Take advantage of it. Be kind, be blessed. And until next time, folks, as we always say, y'all gonna give it to me?
Peace.
Peace. Thank you for tuning in to Two Gems and a Mic. Be sure to subscribe and follow. Until next time, remember, be kind, be blessed. Peace.